Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Empowered. Today, I have the privilege of sitting down with one of Tulsa's top agents, Brandy Ford with eXp Realty. Brandy has grown up in the Tulsa area. She actually moved to New York early on in her career and worked on Madison Avenue for a hotel. And then she was in title and lending for many, many years before she started her real estate career. So, Brandy, welcome to the show, and we're so happy to have you today.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited.
Yes, well, I know that we have a lot to get into. Brandy joined me about a year ago at the brokerage that we're at now, and I got to know her a lot just in this past year. And I have to tell you, she is absolutely a rock star. I love her mindset.
Thank
I love
you.
her creativity. She is the agent that is willing to do what it takes, and she's got such a good work ethic behind it.
Thank
So,
you.
Brandy, let's just start. How many years have you been in real estate, and kind of tell me what that's looked like for you so far?
So I started real estate in 2019. I had a women's clothing boutique in downtown Rose District for about 5 years. And when I closed that down, I really just thought, I'm a single mom. I've got these kids. I don't really have the luxury of doing a normal 9 to 5. So what is it that I can do? And I said, hey, you know what? I'm pretty good at sales and I've done lending and title work. So let's give it a go and see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, I've known you for just a couple of years, and you have absolutely rocked it in real estate. So I know a lot of the people tuning into this, kind of the purpose of this podcast is what are top agents doing that attribute to their success? And I know that you and I have had some private conversations about what you think has brought such a big success to your business. So I just really kind of want to dive in very quickly and just get to that. So, I know that already in 2022, we're a little over 60 days in. You've already written over almost $7 million in production, and that is it's a lot.
Yeah.
So you had a breakout year last year. You've only continued to grow. So what do you think has attributed to some of that?
So for me, I spent a lot of time thinking about that question, right? And the way that I kind of want to approach that for new agents is I think a lot of people look at those of us that haven't been doing this for very long and they think, oh wow, I want to be just like that. Like, why am I going into my third year and I'm not doing millions of dollars production? I must be doing something wrong, right? I think that everybody's key to success is a little bit different. But for me, mine was cultivating the relationships that I had before I went into real estate. So I was really lucky in doing title work first. I mean, I did that for a couple of years for a small company out in Sepulpa. So I have a pretty good knowledge of how title works. And then I went into lending and I was a loan processor for a bank here in town. And I had a lot of loan officers who would come to me and say, it's the 31st. Can you please close my loan? I have to make my numbers. And so when I went into real estate, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm just going to ask them to repay the favor, right? So a lot of people, what they don't do is they don't reach out to the connections that they have because they're afraid of no. I went to some of those loan officers and I was like, hey, look, I'm new. If you have a client that doesn't have a realtor, let me have them. Let me try. Let me prove myself to you that I can do this. And so
Right.
that's what I did. I went and cultivated the relationships that I already had. I chose not to be afraid of no. And I hate no. I do not like being told no. I get very uncomfortable if I feel like somebody might tell me no. But I had to step out of my comfort zone. And so that first year that I was in real estate, I relied heavily on the people that were in our industry that already had the connections and just asked them, what can I do for your business that will also help my business? So for me, that was the number one thing that I did was reach out to loan officers and title companies and said, hey, do you guys know somebody that could use help or that I can do something for you that is going to in turn help my business, right?
Right.
Because I think a lot of new agents go into this and they ask, well, what can you do for me? Give me, show me, help me.
That's
Well, a lot of times those of us that are busy and successful, we don't have time to just donate free time, right? But if you bring value to someone else's business and you say, hey, I'm willing to learn from you or get knowledge from you, what can I do back? Can I help you write contracts? Can I do some of your supplements? Can I go pick up earnest money? What can
yes.
I do to help you have more time to be successful and in turn learn how you got to that place?
Well, I think that's so important because a lot of times you're right, people, it's like, what can you do for me? And that's not, I mean, we know that that's not the approach that makes you successful.
Right.
You've got to bring value to other people's business. And I think for the agents that are listening that are transitioning from one career into the other, just like you did, or, you utilize those relationships that you've had for years. And, I've said it last week, I said it the week before. I think a common theme with top agents is they're willing to get rejected. They're willing to put themselves out there at the fear of rejection and just do that. You
Right.
ask, you get in conversation with people. And so, I mean, that's something that I think all top producers are really good at is just ask for the business.
Yeah,
Just
you gotta be ready to be uncomfortable. I mean, a lot of this job, I think people go into real estate thinking that it's just gonna be fun. We're gonna show houses all day and we're gonna talk to new people. And the reality is that's just a fraction of what we do, right?
right.
The rest of it is the hard part, the explaining why your inspection came back the way it did or appraisals that weren't great. I mean, we have to be ready to deal with no or bad news. And if you start your business out that way in the very beginning and start knocking doors and having people tell you no, the more you hear no, the easier it becomes. And then it just rolls off and you're like, oh, okay, on to the next.
Yeah, you start to build confidence. You
Right.
almost you build resiliency. You understand that you're every no that you get, you're just that much closer to a yes. But you never even try, which I see a lot of new agents kind of timid, like I don't have relationships. People have relationships all around them because
Right.
everybody needs somewhere to live, right? It could
Right.
be people at your church, it could be people that you worked with previously at your other job. There's people everywhere around you, but you have to pour into those relationships and provide value at the same time.
I think another thing to remember with no is once you learn to hear no, I think it's really important as a new agent to not say no. I think that if you get a lead and you say, man, that's all the way out in Prior, and I really only do Broken Arrow, it's so far. That no could have just lost you tons of clients, right? Because if you
Absolutely.
continuously say, yes, today I'm going to make the drive. Yes, today I'm going to get up and I'm gonna make the calls. Today's the day I'm going to return all the emails. Once you start getting used to saying yes, things
Yes.
start naturally coming to you, right? But if you're constantly projecting the no, no, I don't want to drive. No, I don't want to get up this morning. No, I don't want to be a part of that training. No, no, no. Then the universe is going to give no want to you. So it's
Yeah.
really important to remember say yes and learn to live with hearing no, right?
Yes. Yes. A lot of no's in this business.
There's some no in this business.
Yeah. People don't realize the legwork that agents do behind the scenes to even get to the closing table. There's so many steps along the way, but it's for me, it's all boiled down to people skills.
Right.
Being in relationship with people, being in various situations, going to events, meeting people, reaching out to the people that you already know. And so that's one thing that I've always noticed about you that you're very good at doing that. And
Thank you.
definitely it's paying
Well, I
off.
like people, so I thrive very much in situations with a lot of people, and I like talking to people. I like learning about people, and that kind of brings me to my second thing that I feel like has helped me a lot here is that I surround myself with people who want me to succeed, and so I feel like when you and I changed brokerages, never once did you say, "Okay, sign right here and bye. See you later." It's always been a constant, how can I help you? What's next? Let's grow together. The relationship that I have with our preferred lender at AMC Mortgage has been very much cultivated over years of hey, if we collab on this, what's that going to look like for you? Do we want, how do we want to treat our leads? How do we want our customers to feel at the end? And then I also have an assistant who does everything that I'm not any good at, right? So if
Right.
you know you're not good at it, you know it's not something you like. I don't like paperwork. I enjoy the thrill of the kill. I want to do the contract. I want to go do the offer. And then after that's done, I'm like, oh, we have all those required documents. Somebody else should send those out because I don't thrive in that. And so I have now learned to hire someone who can do that for me, that frees up my time so that I'm constantly spending time doing things that make me money, make me new relationships, and basically empower my business. So if you're not
Absolutely.
any good at it, give it to someone else. And if you don't know what you're doing, find someone who does and align with that person. And that's the way that I
Absolutely.
feel about my builder. I have no idea about new construction when I started. And so I just spent all this time saying, teach me, show me. What do I need to know to help grow your business? So for him with T Briggs Construction, it was, I'm going to take all the knowledge that I possibly can and I'm going to use that to grow his business, because as long as he is growing and he's satisfied, then that relationship that he and I have cultivated stays
Right.
intact, right?
Right. Yes.
So I think that that's really important. Surround yourself with people who want you to succeed and return the favor.
Absolutely. I think this has been an ongoing theme for every episode that we've had on Empowered is the power of alignment. You have to get aligned with people that want to succeed and want to see you succeed.
Right.
Unfortunately, not everybody wants to see you succeed. So you've got to make sure that you're protecting your energy, you're in conversation and around people that will help you grow, that you can in return help grow their business, like your relationship with T Briggs Construction. Um, and I look at that relationship you built with him, and you guys are killing it. You're not only killing it in the new construction aspect of it, you're killing it with the pool aspect and with the flip program that so many of our agents have started to use.
Right.
That is putting two minds together and working for the greater good, and it benefits everybody, and it's a win-win.
I
And that's
believe there's so much business to go around. There's no reason why, if I have knowledge of something that works for my clients, why shouldn't I share it with someone else? Right? I don't need to be the person that has the secret formula and nobody else knows it and they all have to come to me.
right.
I want to give that to them, right? I want you to have that. And that's what I tell my girls. I say all the time, like, I have all of this knowledge. I feel like it's my responsibility to give it to you, right?
Right.
Because I can't help every client. I can't be the only realtor out there that's taking every single person. So if I want these girls to be successful, the only way to do that is to share all of the things that I've already learned, right? So that they don't have to go through that. And it's our responsibility as a top agent. You owe it to those other agents to guide them in a way that is going to make them successful. And if you have that power and you have that knowledge and you choose not to use it, just know that someday that will come back, right? So as a new agent, when you're trying to work your way up, remember the people that helped get you there and then return that to the new agents, because there were so many that helped me. And I mean, Lori Jenkins, she was amazing to me. She didn't have to do any of the things she did to help my career. And she did it freely. I wasn't even part of her team. She was just like, I want you to succeed. Take all of this information and go do it.
Yeah.
And so when that worked for me, I was like, I think I'll have to give that back.
Well, I've had so much help along the way. I mean, there was no way that I would be where I am today without one being an expert at asking for help. I don't know how to do this. A lot of people don't know this about me in the Tulsa market, but when I was in a different market where I started my real estate career, I worked for a builder. And at that point, I was very young, I was very green, had no knowledge, but somebody took the time to sit down with me and teach me that part of the industry. And now, gosh, that was probably 12 years ago, 12, 13 years ago. I've said it before, but the only correct response is the knowledge that we get as top agents. And as we see our businesses flourish, you have to be able to pay that back to agents.
That's right.
Because we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't align ourselves with people and didn't ask for help along the way. And I I mean, real estate, people don't realize everything that goes into what we do. I mean, we wear
It's,
many
it's
hats.
constant all the time. That's right. It's not just helping people find a place or to sell their home. I mean, there's a lot of emotions and struggles and hurdles that go through each transaction. None of them are the same. None of them are
Yeah,
easy. If you do get an easy one, you're like, well, that was my one for the year, I guess.
right.
Because you're not getting another one.
Right. I love it. Um,
So I think the last thing for me has been I made a conscious decision going into 2021 that I was no longer going to be driven by money. All of 2020, I was driven by money. Obviously, I stayed home with my kids. I lost listings because of COVID. We all struggled that year. And I found myself being so money driven. I need an open house. I need a broker's open. I need this. I need that. How am I going to make my next check, my next dollar? And for me, I realized that that wasn't actually conducive to my business anymore. And it stressed me out a lot. So I decided in 2021 that from this point forward, it wasn't about the money. It was about my relationship with my clients. That's it. And when I shifted my mindset to that, business started coming to me easier, right? I was able to no longer buy leads. I canceled my lead purchasing and I not only doubled my business, I quadrupled my business. I mean, in
yeah.
2020, I have my award sitting over here. I did 2.4 million in production in 2020. 2021, I did just under 10. I mean, a simple
And you're
shift.
already at almost 7 for this year, which is
And I'm
amazing.
almost 7 this year, right? So
Yeah,
when you shift your mindset to it being about how can I help others as opposed to how can I get rich doing this, right?
right,
It's
right.
almost like the world receives it and the energy comes back to you. I mean, I've had a client just recently that her grandma was going through foreclosure and we were in a bad spot. Most agents would tell them no because there was no money to be made in this deal. And I knew it was going to cost me a lot of time and energy and reaching out to the attorneys and the bank and all of that. And I just told her, I said, you know what? I'll just do it. I'll just do it. And it was a 4-month long transaction. And I made not squat off that deal after all the work that I put into it, right? But the reality is that from that moment forward, she sent me a message and she said, I had posted it on my Facebook and she said, I can't even tell you what this means to me, how much I love my Nana and you saved her, right? She now doesn't have to lose her house. She doesn't have to move away. Our family can rest easy at night. And I realized in that moment, like that was for me what my 2021 shift was all about. This
Oh,
isn't about dollars. Because at the end of the day, now every time she needs a realtor for something, do you know who she's going to call? And her Nana's going to go to her bridge games or whatever it is that she does, and she can tell all of her friends. This
right.
sweet girl in Tulsa, she saved me, right? And so sometimes if you can shift from, well, I didn't make any money off of that deal. Well, I didn't. I made no money off that deal. But I'm hopeful that in the pipeline as we go down, that deal's going to make me a lot of money. And I get to rest at night knowing that I helped her family. It's
Yeah,
much bigger than just, hey, are you getting a 3%? Are we getting a 6%? Or is it 2.5%? If you can get out of your own way about that, I think it'll start to come much more naturally because people can sense when you're money hungry and you're greedy.
yes. Absolutely. You know,
So,
oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
well, for me, it's really just turned from this being a career to this being something that I'm passionate about. I want every client that I deal with to leave working with me saying that was really enjoyable, and I feel like I've made a new friend.
Yes. Well, Brandy, that comes across in your relationships. I know our personal relationship. I can sense that energy about you. I've had realtors reach out to me and say, "Gosh, have you met Brandy? I just love her. Like that you exude that, and I mean, it's really showing up in your business. And you're right. That's what it's all about. The second that we don't come from a place of contribution and it becomes about the money, that will work against us in our business. And I think a lot of new agents, they see the money potential in real estate, and yeah, that's one component of it. But there is so much more to this business than that. and it's truly about helping and serving our clients to the best of our ability. And, there's not a realtor out there that hasn't had to put the money aside for a minute and really think about what's in the best interest of our clients to make a deal work. There's all
Right.
kinds. Unfortunately, a lot of times we get caught in the middle of divorces, of deaths,
Yep.
really traumatic life events that we're placed into because there's a piece of property that needs to be sold.
Right.
So, there's so much more to this business. And so I love to hear you say that. And I think it's very good for agents coming into the business and newer agents to really, really understand that aspect of real estate.
Yep.
Uh, so thank you for sharing that. You gave me chills.
Now we got the warm and fuzzies.
Well, so I want to see. I know that a year ago we talked about this a little bit earlier. A year ago, we talked, and I had just made a move to EXP, and we had talked. What was it, in April or March or April of last year? And I know that there's been some really exciting things happening in your business. And I want you to kind of just share with everybody kind of what that transition looked like for you and why you even decided to do that. We were at the same company before.
Right.
Um,
I think so I'm an extremely goal driven person, and I need to be able to see the next thing, right? Like if I hit this goal, what's the next one, right?
yes.
I if I become if I don't have something I'm trying to reach, I become stagnant. I wake up every morning and I need to know this is my next goal. This is what I'm working for. This is what I want, right? And with my last brokerage, I got to a point in my commission splits that it was capped out. That was it. This is as far as it goes, and there are no more goals or things to reach for, right? And it didn't sit well with me because I saw myself progressively producing at a rapid rate. I thought, man, like that's a lot of money that I'm not getting to keep, and there's no other incentive for me to try harder. I'm just confused by that. And so when I saw you leave and switch, I thought, man, JB's not an idiot. So there's something here, And I had another agent in Oklahoma City that had reached out to me about EXP, and I did what most people do. I'm like, not interested, not interested. And
Right.
I said no. I said
That
no.
for years. I was not interested.
Yep. And that's what I did. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I don't need any of that. And then I took the time to really sit down and hear what you were saying, right? I reached out to you. You told me what it was for you and all these different things that it offered. And I just thought, there's no reason why I should keep saying no to this. It makes zero sense. And now that I've made the switch, honestly, I would never do it different.
Yeah.
I love the idea of having a cap that's easily attainable. I like the idea of being able to icon afterwards and get that money back. Like what brokerage do they give you your money back? No one gives you your money back. Right?
That's the one thing that blew me away. I had been with a capping company before, but the fact that I was gonna, at the level of production that we're doing, they're gonna give me the money back.
Right.
I had to really pay attention to that, and that's initially kind of what piqued my interest about this company.
Well, so I made a post just the other day, and I don't know if many people saw it, but I had talked to our broker, and she said, I want you to go back and look just from the transactions you've done since you capped, and I want you to tell me how much money you would have paid had you not capped. And I was like, well, I never even thought about that. So let's go take a look. And it was almost $15,000.
Yeah.
$15,000? That's a car. That's a vehicle. And that's just
for a house. I mean,
that's so much money. And that is just since the end of November. I capped at the end of November. That means December, January, February. I have saved $15,000 for me and my children. I mean, when I say I'm a single mom, I do this alone. It's just me. $15,000 means so much
money.
to me and my kids. So I love the structure of EXP. I'm hoping to icon soon and then
Yes,
another stepping stone, right? And I think that people that are successful are people who are goal driven and motivated for the next. I mean, if you're not looking for the very next thing, then we become stagnant, right?
absolutely.
And
Well,
that's
and
what I love about this company.
if you look at the dynamic of the agents, the majority, I think, of the agents, at least personally, that have joined me in business with this company, there are a lot of high level thinkers. They're very business minded. I think one of the things that you and I both enjoy about EXP is we really are running our own business.
Correct.
Um, Without the liability, without the responsibility of being the broker and having all that, we do have a ton of support on the back end, but we are like really joining our or running our own business.
Yeah, and
So
the training has been exceptional, right? The amount of training that you have at your fingertips. I mean, the girls that I'm mentoring underneath me will come and they'll ask me a question, and how do we do this? What does that look like? And the first thing I say is, hey, I don't know, let me check. Tell me the training. Have we watched? Let's call somebody. Let's ask, right?
right,
And there's always an answer. Now, sometimes because we are all very busy, it takes a little bit to find an answer from your broker at your last brokerage, right? This
right,
one, you log into the world, it's all right there at your fingertips. You can watch it whenever you want. You don't have to feel like you have to be at class. I mean, I just think there's a wealth of knowledge here that is provided to people from agents, not just in Oklahoma. If you think about at your last brokerage, it was a very small community, right? I mean, to get the answers and ideas and thoughts of how other people in our community were successful at it, well, that's really great. Someone's already doing it. I want to hear about how other people are doing in other states. Can I emulate that? Can I be the first one who maybe brought that to Tulsa, to Oklahoma? Where else are you
absolutely,
going to get that? There's so much knowledge right at your fingertips through this brokerage.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. Well, I am so glad that you have joined me. I love that our friendship has grown over the past year, and
Yes,
you've really become one of my favorite people. And
me too. I
uh,
know. It's so funny how like one small yes in your life changes everything. If I had not picked up the phone after seeing your post and said, hey, can you talk to me for a second? If I wasn't just open to the idea,
right,
it could have changed everything for me, right? If I continued to say no, would I have been able to blossom my business into being a $multi million producing agent?
right.
Maybe not, right? But because I said yes, because I chose to hear you, because I chose to listen, not only did I get a great brokerage, but now I have a friendship and we've got this awesome team around us and we've just got so much more knowledge than we had before. So one simple yes could change everything for people. And I think that that's really what I want them to know is don't be afraid to ask. And if you don't know that you want a change just yet, at least be open to something different than what you know.
Right. My mentor puts it to me this way. She said, when I was being talked to about EXP, and I was like, no, I'm not. I don't know. I just wasn't real open to it. She said, at this point, you don't have enough information to even know what you're saying no to.
That's
And I am thankful every day. My life looks totally different fast forward now than it did a year ago. It looks totally different. And I'm so glad that hit me in a way that I was like, you know what? Let me just stop. Let me put my ego over here.
right. Mhm.
Let me just listen to what he has to say. So
Right.
I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful that you joined this crazy crew. We have the best time,
It's been
and
fun.
it really has. And I really appreciate you coming on here today, Brandy. I know that you're
Thank
very
you.
busy. You've got multiple companies running, and you've got your phone. I've been with you. Your phone's going off, and it's a little crazy.
It's a
Um,
little crazy.
so I just really appreciate you taking the time today. One last question that I want to ask you is, where do you think that we'll see you in the next 5 years or so?
Well, so we've got some pretty exciting things happening over here. If this will be the first place I get to tell people, but I'm actually going to launch a team. So it'll be me and a couple of people on our team, and we're really just going to try and take over the T-Briggs construction experience, making sure that every client we touch is happy and pleased. And really, for me, I think my goal at some point is I would like to develop neighborhoods. I think for me that sounds exciting. I see Amy Prosser do that, and I'm like, oh, I would love that. I think that sounds so amazing, and she's got such a great energy about her and the way that she approaches it. And I'm like,
Yes.
I want to do that. So
Wow.
hopefully within the next couple of years, sooner than 5 would be great. But yeah, I think neighborhoods is what's next for me.
I love it. Well, the one thing I know about you after getting to know you is if you put your mind to it, there will be no stopping you.
Well, I don't like no. So, no.
Yeah. So, well, if there's new agents out there that want to get a hold of you or, anything like that, how do people get in touch with you?
So on my Facebook, it's got my phone number on every single post. If you see a T-Breaks construction post, it will have my phone number on it. If you see an Oasis Pools and Outdoor Living, it will have my phone number on it. But yeah, reach out and call me anytime. If you guys have questions, you can text me. I think that a lot of the girls that I've been helping will tell you that I am not a person who keeps knowledge to myself, and I have no problem sharing all my secrets to success. I want to give that to you. So if you have any questions and I might have the answer, call me. And if I don't have the answer, I'll find it. I'm probably going to call JP.
Right. If I don't have it, I'll find it. Well, Brandy, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in here this morning, and I hope you have the best week.
Yes,
and thank you so much.
Thanks, JP. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See ya.